One of the most important skills in the sports card hobby is knowing how to ship your sports cards. Now, I've shipped thousands of sports cards over the years, and today I'm gonna run through how I do it efficiently and also give you guys a few little sneaky tips that I've learned over this period. So this has easily been my most requested video over the last couple of months. So before we start the video off, guys, leave a like down below, comment down below, and also hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't subscribed already. All right, let's start off with what you guys need. So I am in Australia, so this will be targeted towards Australians, but Americans, don't click off because most of these you can apply to you guys as well, and as well as other countries. First thing that you'll need, padded mailers. So do not go into Australia Post and buy these. They charge a bit of a premium for them. You can find these blank ones on eBay quite cheap, and you can buy in bulk. I buy in like a box of like 1,000, and it works out to be like 10 to 15 cents per padded mailer in comparison to Australia Post, where it can be like $1. Next thing I would grab is stamps. So for Australia, we definitely need stamps, but a box of 100 of these are 150 bucks. In terms of convenience and everything like that, I would suggest that you just buy the entire box for 150 bucks versus going to the post office and just buying them as you need, as it will just take up a lot of time and effort. Next up, for protection of cards when you do ship them, I highly suggest cutting up some cardboard. And I have cut so much cardboard over the years that I do have some favorites. I do like to get cardboard that is quite thin, but also still sturdy enough that it will give some protection. I have seen people use like Coca-Cola boxes, but I find them really, really thin that it's almost like not even using cardboard. But my favorite ones are actually the ones from Amazon. IKEA is really good as well. And then if you also get HelloFresh boxes delivered to you, these are the HelloFresh ones, and yeah, they're quite thick, but also good enough that you can cut quite easily and protect your cards when you do ship them. Another necessity that you need, painter's tape. So why I would recommend painter's tape over masking tape or any kind of other tape is that it doesn't leave any residue on the top loader itself. I don't know if you guys out there have received packages where people have wrapped the top loader or even slabs and even graded card sleeves in tons of tape, and then there's all this sticky tape residue on there. You can actually remove it with like an orange stain remover, which works very well, but again, it's very annoying to do that, and most of the time I just throw the top loader away. But painter's tape does not leave any residue, and it works very, very well. If you're wanting to find it, I'll be looking at Bunnings. If you're in America, look at your local hardware store. And then obviously get your card supplies. I like to get them in bulk as well, just to help me save in terms of shipping. But we have the basic penny sleeves. You can also have the thicker penny sleeves, which are for thicker cards. I also have top loaders as well. Buy them in bulk again. I've got the Select brand over here, but obviously Ultra Pro, BCW are great brands as well. We have the team bags, and I'll show you my process at the end in terms of how I actually do ship. And then for slabs themselves, I use Palms Off Gaming's PSA graded sleeves. They also have BGS, and I'm pretty sure they have SGC as well. But yeah, these are really good because they wrap around the slab very tightly and are just really great for presentation. And then this one's a bit more optional, but I would still highly suggest that even if you don't send off too many packages, and that is a label printer. Look, I have a really basic label printer from Dymo. I purchased it from Officeworks for around $110 to $120. I like it. It's a wired label printer, but if you don't have a label printer at the moment and you're shipping off a fair bit, I would highly suggest getting a wireless one, because it does get annoying when I do have to print off labels and I've got to connect my laptop to the label printer itself. And why I would get a label printer, it just helps with, obviously, you don't have to worry about handwriting or anything like that when it comes to writing addresses. If you don't have the neatest handwriting out there, I do remember a few years back when I didn't have a label printer, I've had package returned to me because they couldn't read my handwriting. So yeah, you don't want any issues with that. And obviously with a label printer, that removes any of the sort of stress involved there. And again, typing it into the actual program itself and printing it off is way less effort than actually handwriting it. And when it comes to overseas addresses as well, it definitely helps there in that aspect. All right, so you've gotten a sale now. So how do I specifically ship it all? So I would obviously have this in a penny sleeve. We just have a Chris Olave here. Chuck that into a penny sleeve there, and then we just get the top loader here. I mean, I would normally have this already in the top loader. It would just, you know, you obviously don't store your cards by themselves with no penny sleeve. So that's pretty good right there. Then what I would do, get a team bag up. What I used to do was actually put a bit of painter's tape on the top there, but I actually find if you actually seal it really, really tightly like that, fold really tight over the top, there actually won't be any movement from the card itself, but yeah, you can put some painter's tape over the top there. Almost forgot one of the more important things, but having a business card in there as well is optional, but I guess can help with a bit of marketing and networking, so you can just chuck that there. I do like to put some spare cards on either side as well, but again, wrapping that very tightly. Now what we do, we get the cardboard and I just literally sandwich it between there, and then we get our painter's tape and we just wrap it up. So I will just do one piece of tape lengthwise and we just fold that over like that, and then we get another piece of tape and then we go horizontally. And then yes, that goes straight into the padded mailer. I would put the actual label there itself. So this is going out to me, Matt's card shop there, and then we would just seal it. And yeah, if it's going out as a standard letter, this can just go into the red postal box down here in Australia. It would cost you around $3.50 total in terms of all the supplies and the padded mailer included. Yeah, I would just suggest do not go into the post office themselves and then say like, I want to ship this to this address, because they will charge you for a parcel, which is like $10 plus. You can send these as a letter, and I'm going to show you guys how much you can send before it does become a parcel. All right, so for slabs themselves, the exact same principle applies. Sandwich it between cardboard that has been measured out already, and then yeah, just apply tape lengthways, fold it up tightly so there's no movement at all, and then also horizontally. So again, packed up tightly and then into the padded mailer. And again, this one, this is also why I like the HelloFresh boxes and the Amazon, the IKEA ones, because the cardboard's still thin enough that you can send this one as a letter. So again, if you're shipping slabs with PSA and SGC, you can actually send this as a letter. BGS, I find sometimes can be too thick that you do have to send as a parcel, and that's where I would charge $10 for it. But yeah, still you can charge $3 or $4 for sending out PSA slabs along with top-loaded cards. Now, one tip I would have is to do a lot of the preparation in advance, so you're not just preparing everything as orders come in or as you make sales. And what I mean by that is actually cutting the cardboard in advance. So I don't just cut cardboard as I need. I get a box and I'll cut it. It'll take me like 10 minutes, but basically measure it all out and cut it out so that as I get an order, I can just grab 2 pieces of cardboard for PSA slabs there. And the same thing for top-loaded cards. As you can see here, I've got a bunch of cardboard here cut out. I normally like to have this a bit more stacked, but yeah, I do have a lot of cardboard ready to be pulled out when I do get another sale. And this also applies for envelopes. So I pre-stamp all my envelopes. And as you can see here, I've got a huge, huge stack of envelopes with the stamps on them. So again, all I've got to do is prepare the card, put the label on there, and grab the envelope rather than pulling out the stamps individually. They're all ready to go. If you've also got some high-end cards to sell off and you want to be extra careful, I also get these boxes in bulk. These boxes are also really, really good if you're sending off bulk cards that can't fit into a padded mailer, but very similar principles would apply. I would just literally line this with some bubble wrap and then stack the cards on top. Make sure there's no movement. Close the box. When you shake it, you'd hope that there's no sound. If there is a little bit of sound, that means there's movement, so I would line it up with a little bit more bubble wrap. And yeah, again, don't buy these boxes at Australia Post. They just price them higher. Just get them in bulk off eBay. Find the right sizes that you need, and yeah, you'll save a bit more money that way. Now, here is a sneaky tip for you guys, especially if you're in Australia. So if you're in Australia, head down to Australia Post and get one of these bad boys. If you don't know what this is, it's a letter gauge. It basically determines what you can send as a letter at $3 postage versus as a parcel, which is $10 plus postage. And how I would use this is before you do send it off to Australia Post, if you can slide it through there, this can go in as a letter and you can drop it into the red post box. But what I've found is if you do take your parcels into Australia Post, they will use this, and if they slide it through and there's any little bit of like resistance from the letter gauge itself, they will classify that as a parcel and it will go out at $10 postage. So if you have this at home, Just slide it through, and again, if it slides through with a bit of resistance, that's fine. I've even had some that have gotten caught but have still gone through. I would still send that as a letter, and I've never had anything get sent back, or I've never had the customer say they've had to pay for extra postage. The difference between charging $3.50 to $4 plus for postage versus $10 is massive, especially if you have an eBay store. I guess on the plus side, if you do charge $10 plus, or it does get charged as a parcel, you do get tracking compared to as a letter where you don't get tracking. So again, just something to keep in mind. If you send high value items, I would just send as a parcel automatically, versus as a letter, I would send more your lower value cards there. Another thing as well, I am not the biggest fan of shipping cards in one touches. Look, they look really nice in terms of presentation, but if you have sold to someone and they have seen that it's in a one touch, you obviously have to send it in the original packaging. So I would ship the card in a top loader and then just have this on the side. It would still go as a letter, but I just wouldn't ship the card in this, because I have seen a few packages where people have sent in these and they've actually smashed. And because, you know, this is pretty hard, and it, you know, if it does actually break, it can damage the card itself, versus a top loader where it would really have to get a lot of force put through it. I don't like shipping in one touches, but if you do have to, ship it separately. Sorry, ship it in the same package, but just don't ship the card in it. Another tip I would highly recommend, especially if you're in Australia, is to get an Australian Post business account. So the way the Australia Post business account works is you do get discounts based on how much you spend on postage. So if you're sending a fair bit, even if you're band 1, so there's band 0, band 1, band 2, all the way up to band 5, I think. I'm actually personally at band 4, and the only reason is because I send the Mats card cases, which cost anywhere from $20 to $50 to ship. So obviously my postage costs are really high. I also run pretty regular Facebook sales, so $10 here, $10 there, it does add up. But even if you're at band 1 or band 2, you do get a little bit of savings, and that can add up over time. So I would highly recommend signing up for an Australian Post business account, and it is free as well. So you're pretty much wasting money if you're not signed up. And then another massive question that I always get is, how do you ship internationally? Well, basically, you do the same principle. I use a padded mailer, no stamps, obviously. Package it up as normal. I've shipped via boxes, padded mails, it doesn't matter. Then all you need to do is print out the label and then go to Australia Post on their website, and you just have to fill out the customs declaration. I'll put it in the description down below. In that customs declaration, you just need to basically put your address, their address. It does ask for their phone number, but a lot of the time, when you're sending it off, or when you have a buyer off eBay, they're not gonna have their phone number listed. So I just put 0 for here. Then you've got to declare what's in it, and then you've got to declare the actual customs value itself. And then what happens is, once you prepare that declaration, you just go into Australia Post, you hand them this parcel itself, and then you just have to scan your QR code for the customs declaration, and then that pretty much gives them all the information, and they print out a form for you, and then they do ship it. It is so much easier to do it this way. Otherwise, you've got to go there and actually handwrite everything, like the address, your address, what's in it. Again, if you do it all on the computer, you get rid of all that time, and yeah, you can just do it then and there. But yeah, I always say to people, open up your eBay store, especially if you're in Australia to overseas, because I've had numerous people pay for a $5 card, a $10 card, and then they're happy to pay the $25 in shipping, because if people want that card for that PC, they're gonna pay for it. Yeah, guys, that is it in terms of how to ship sports cards. I hope it tied it all together pretty well for you, because there's obviously a lot going on there. If you guys appreciate the content, it's been one of my most requested videos, like I said, make sure you leave a like down below, comment down below, and also hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.